momentum you guys built from us Saturday's game against Iowa State?
Just what we always have to do throughout any game that we play is just execute on our side of the football, and everything will take care of itself. Because I know we have a standard that we abide by. Also the bottom line that we abide by, and also the things that we preach on was straight into the ball and having takeaways. So if we just abide by those lines and the confines of our defense, I think we'll be fine. And just approach this as one game at a time. Don't look ahead and don't look at what we did in the past. Just look at what we have right now.
Isaiah, thanks. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Brian Haber.
Hey, Isaiah, good talking to you again. When you look at the success that y'all have had in this series, both short-term and long-term, does that help you in any way going into a game like this in these circumstances? And can it be a little bit of a double-edged sword there?
I think, you can't really dwell on what you've done in the past in any particular situation, because every year, every team is different. And, on both sides of the ball, for us and for them, so you really can't, bring up what you did in the past. You got to focus on what's going on in the moment, because every year you have different players and possibly even different coaches. So you can't, rely on what you did in the past to help you what you're doing in the present, because what you did previously does nothing for you. And if you rely on that, you won't have the outcome that you want, because if you just focus on what you have right now in the process into going into the game, then usually you'll get the results that you want.
And like you said, you've got to go do it and prepare that way. But once you get to that point, does it help with just the confidence level? Going into something like this?
I would definitely say it helps with the confidence level, because anything that can help you boost your confidence in any situation, I don't see why not to use it. But don't let it, override what you have to actually go out there and do, because you can have all the confidence and all the sayings and quotes in the world, but if you don't actually go out there and do it, all that does nothing for you. So, if it distracts you, it diminishes you. So you just have to use what you can use to motivate you and impact you in a positive way.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Isaiah. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
John Hoover.
I think you're muted, John.
Okay. Yeah, no, there we go. I had to click it. Okay, so what I'm wondering, Isaiah, is if all the success you guys have had as players against Oklahoma State, this is really a special game, a special series, a great rivalry. Any special memories you want to share about being on the field after the game, in the locker room, some of your favorite stuff that went on?
Oh, yeah, like you said, it's a special game. And like I said, after we won against Iowa State, it's Oklahoma Super Bowl is what I've, heard it called before. And I think there's special moments that I'd say is just specifically last year, the feeling of walking off the field, with the players that we had, like, Ronnie Perkins and Ramondre Stevenson, not knowing it was their last game, but playing as if it was, like one of their last games. And just moments like that, David Oyebu's interception and just the way Perk dominated, just not any specific moments, but just the feeling of winning a game like that, just because how special it is to our state and just how impactful it is to college football. So no moments in particular, but just the satisfaction of winning.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
John Shen.
Yeah, so much has been written about Oklahoma State's defense so far this year. Do you guys kind of feel like you're the overlooked unit going into this game?
I wouldn't say all that. I just, obviously you got to give credit to where credit's due. If you perform well, you're going to get noticed for it. And they deserve that because they have been performing well. But I wouldn't say we've been overlooked, at least from our perspective, because I focus on what we have in our locker room and in our out there on the field, because what we do obviously works as well. We have the same record going into this game. Obviously there's spurts and there's times where we don't execute when we want to, but at the end of the day, we do just good enough to get to the amount of wins with 10 wins and have that, that blemish on our record. But other than that, I wouldn't say we're overlooked, but just, they've been credited to what they've been doing, which they deserve.
Thanks.
Jenny Carlson.
Hey, Isaiah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Spencer Sanders. You guys didn't see him 2 years ago. He was hurt in this game. Last year, he gets hurt, so it's a limited role that he played a year ago. What have you seen on film from him this year, and just how maybe does he look different, evolved, changed from maybe what you remember from the last couple of years getting ready for this game?
Oh, excuse me. In all honesty, man, from what I've seen, I think he's definitely improved in the throwing game. We all know he's very mobile. He can hurt you with his feet, but I think he's improved throwing the ball, because I know at times early in your career, obviously you're not the developed player you are later on into your career, and you can definitely see him making those strides and, the work that's been put in. So, that's what I've been seeing on tape as an improvement standpoint by him. And it's actually good to see, competition's always fun. So the way he's been out there playing and leading his team to where they are now, it's been impressive to see.
he's obviously able to run, maybe doesn't take off as much as he used to, sort of that evolution of a more experienced quarterback. But because their run game is so good, how much of a challenge is that when you've got a guy who can run like he does? I mean, I know you guys go against quarterbacks that are mobile, regularly, but what's the challenge?
I say the challenge is, I say like it's more so us, playing honest within our defense and doing your job, because I know we have times where guys just want to make a play, and, try to be productive, and sometimes we get out of our gaps, and things happen to where if we would have just ran that certain standard, that certain movement, we would have been in a position to make plays. So with a quarterback like him and a run game like they have, if we just played honest, I think we'll be fine. But that all starts with us believing in our job and try not to be a hero, because if you try to be a hero, you go to zero. But if you just do your job, you end up making the plays and being where you want to be at.
James Hale.
Isaiah, it's going to be a great matchup, really, between your defensive line, which played so well last week, against their offensive line, and them trying to run the tailback and things like that. Talk about that matchup, because that's going to be the game within the game.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because, I think personally the game starts in the trenches up front. You win the line of scrimmage, 9 times out of 10, you'll win the game outside of, winning the takeaway battle. But yeah, the game starts up front. That's a challenge I'm willing to accept, obviously they are too, but something that we will accept. We've been in tough games against good offensive lines where, the matchups have been back and forth, but, like you said, it's going to be a good matchup. And if you win the line of scrimmage, you have a good chance of winning that game. So it's definitely a challenge we can take, and something we can always handle as well.
Thanks, Isaiah. Good luck, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Okay, last one for Isaiah. We'll go back to John Hoover.
Yeah, Isaiah, you look at the 3 defenses you guys face at the end of the season. Those are probably the 3 highest ranked defenses, the 3 best defenses, the 3 most physical defenses. What I'm wondering is, Oklahoma State's kind of probably at the top of that heap. Does playing Baylor 2 weeks ago, playing Iowa State last week, kind of ramp up and get you guys ready for that situation, playing Oklahoma State?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, statistically, Oklahoma State, obviously on tape as well, they're at the top of what these last stretches that we've been facing defensively. And I think, the schedule couldn't have been set up any better, with especially for the offense, playing defenses that get better gradually throughout the week. It puts a challenge on them to also get better throughout the week. And I say a challenge because it's challenges that we accept. And I didn't say pressure because, like I've said before, pressure is a privilege. And it just means we have expectations and goals other teams don't have, so I think that, Coach Riley and the offense is up for it, as well as us, backing them up, so I think it's the schedule played out well with how the matchups we've been facing recently.
Yeah, my follow-up was on you guys being wanting to represent for yourself, being that physical defense, maybe the most physical defense in the game on Saturday.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that physicality shows up as well as that emotional impact. So those 2 things definitely will stand out.